All right, welcome, everyone. Welcome. I want to believe it's been a great day. All right, yes. If you can see and if you can hear me clearly, let me see at the comment section. If you can see me and if you can hear me clearly, let me just see at the comment section. Welcome, everyone. Yes, thank you. We can. Thank you. Victor Adesoye, thank you. All right, good evening, Blessed Emmanuel, thank you. Good evening, Olusoji Omobalanle. My name is Temidayo, actually. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yes, you can hear me. All right, so I'd like to ask a few questions. How has it been? How has it been? All right, today, how many of us were able to do one or two things from what we learned yesterday? And then we are able to at least check to be sure that we got values for our time yesterday. So I like to see what new thing maybe you practiced yesterday. Yes. I like to see that in the comment section. I know we are joining from different parts. I can see that quite a number of us are not still on this call yet. People are still coming. People are still joining in. So let's see how many people had learned something yesterday. Oh wow, fantastic! Uh, Renewable resources. It doesn't have to be very big. You see all those little progress we're making. Yes, keeps us on point, makes us feel on point. Yeah. All right. Okay. Somebody have not been able to do anything at all. All right. I like to see. Got the table of content on GitHub. Lamide Jimon. Fantastic. I saw that. Got the table. Add new repository name. I like that. Yes, I'm taking note of that. Yusuf Olaide. No, I'm beginning to get familiar with some of the names now. Create a repository document. That's Shalom. Good one. I was able to create a repository on my GitHub account. Nice one. I swear Dion. No, I like to call names that are not I'm not familiar with. So I can add that to my library collections. All right. I created a GitHub account too. Okay, good. I was able to create a portfolio on my journey, but I had issues uploading pictures. All right, please, you might need to just pick the video again. And trust me, you won't have issue. Just rewatch it and then you will be able to do so. You will be able to do so. All right? All right. Okay, I had clear understanding about GitHub and made necessary corrections on it. Thank you, Oyindamola. I like this kind of feedback. All right, created a repository on my GitHub account. You created yours. I was able to add the pie chart and bar chart. Fantastic. I clap for you, Muritala Oladipupo. Learned how to create GitHub and create repository. I clap for you. All right, that's fantastic. Right, you guys are really right doing a good job. And I just like to encourage you so that if you keep this energy, this pace up, I can assure you, you are just close to that height you are aiming and then you want to be. Trust me. All you just need to do is just remain consistent, remain fervent, remain true to whatever you are doing, and then I can assure you, in less time, you will discover that you have learned a lot. It's so interesting. Even as a facilitator, sometimes you also have to get back to the student to class to learn some new things. Probably there are one or two things that you can learn. As a matter of fact, I was in a class today still trying to learn one or two things because not that I don't know, but then maybe there are approaches to learning. So the more you give yourself to this learning, the better you become. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I got the table and even started discovering more things on GitHub. Fantastic. I see the way you type it so that you can get my attention. So now you have gotten my attention. Peace. All right, I saw that already. Created the repo for my DA journey. Fantastic one. Like Peace got my attention already because that was what Peace wanted to actually. Oh, Yusuf Olaide, I'm getting familiar, like I said. I also searched on how to make use of the fork. Fantastic. Oh, really? Were you able to practice it? Were you able to get it hold on any project, maybe your collaborative project, but maybe not at the moment or at this point, but then you can see what it's used for. All right. Okay, I think it's just you, NM Aideyon. In case you cannot hear me clearly, I think it's just you. All right. I want to believe everybody can hear me. If you can hear me clearly, let me see at the comment section. Please, can you? All right, it's just you, NM. Somebody just confirmed that. So maybe you should log out and log in again or check the volume of your device. All right. So how many of us are ready to continue on the journey tonight as we delve into something entirely new? All right, something entirely new. How many of us are? Oh, loud and clear. Thank you. Okay, so please, I have not gotten any file, nor an email, not an LMS. Amma Grace. So please, I'm sure my team will have gotten hold of that your details already. So if they need anything from you, maybe if our record shows or carries your name, we will be able to check what the issue is and then we should rectify immediately after the class, I presume. All right, good evening, marvelous. All right, let's get to today's business. How many of us are ready? Say, I'm ready, 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 ready. Ready, 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 ready. All right, we're good to go. So like I said yesterday, I said we're going to be going into an introduction to something entirely different, new today. And then why did we bring that, what we did yesterday? Let me say this again. So what we did yesterday was supposed to be a little break. What do I mean by the break? There is like, don't just keep learning, and then you have nothing to show for what you're learning. So what we want to do for you is to see that everything you have been learning in the past few days and then few months, you are also able to bring them together. All right? You are able to bring them together such that you can show them. You can show them out and people can see what you've got. Does that make sense? Now, so why we are doing this or why we did that portfolio building is you can convincingly tell someone you are doing this when you have something to show for it. It speaks better and more sensible that way rather than say I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I know somebody will say I can do all things. All right, I agree with you. Even me, I can do all things, but there are things you must subject yourself to learning before you can be sure to say you can do them. Right. All right. So that's that. Now tonight we're going into a new module, and you agree with me that in this class we have had three modules, and then the first is Microsoft Excel, the second is SQL. Of course, the repository building is just let me just say the tip on the iceberg for us, and then lastly is Power BI, which is what we're going to do tonight. So Power BI, just before I start sharing my screen, I want to create a little contest around what we want to do so that we have a very good understanding of what we're about to delve in tonight. All right. Power BI is simply put Power Business Intelligence. All right. And Power BI is one of the tools that is associated with Power Platforms. So maybe you have heard of Power Platforms before. Power Platform is an application, a web-based application that you can use to do so many things, to build, to analyze, to give reports, to do something. So Power Platforms have mainly mainly four tools. That's Power Automate, Power Power Automate, Power was the second one now. We have Power BI, we have Power Virtual Agent, and then we have Power Applications. Yes, Power Automate, Power Apps, Power BI, and then Power Virtual Agent. So all of these four, they are combined together when you are working with probably within a project, a team. So one of those tools is what we are going to be using in this class, all right, as a business analyst. So we are going to be picking a tool that I no not PowerPoint, not PowerPoint. PowerPoint is for presentation. So because they are power tools does not mean PowerPoint is also one of them, right? So again, I say they are power applications. Power Automate. So Power Applications is what you use to build or develop your applications. Power Automate is used for triggering to trigger automated maybe responses and triggers. Then we have Power BI to analyze and visualize. And then lastly, we have Power Virtual Agent, which you can use more like a virtual assistant, or something that can a trained robot AI that can answer some basic questions. All right. So that's that about Power BI. All right. So I think it's a good time for me to just share my screen and then maybe show us a few things that we've got to do tonight. Just a moment, and then I will be able to share my screen. All right. So you should see my screen shortly. Oh, thank you. So let's go. Please confirm you can see my screen. Confirm you can see my screen. And I think let me be sure this is what is BI? BI means business intelligence. Business intelligence. BI means business intelligence. All right. So, like I said earlier, so what we are looking at is Microsoft Power BI step-by-step guide, installations, and introduction. So in this class, I mentioned yesterday that I would desire that quite a number of us would have gotten Power BI and then would have installed it. How many of us have Power BI installed on our system already? If you have Power BI installed on your system already, let me see. I have PI. I have Power BI. Can I see that at the comment section? I have Power BI. How many of us have Power BI installed on our system? Oh, yes, I have BI. Thank you. Just swarm me. Thank you. Installing it now. Fantastic. Great. Wow. I have quite a number of people who have downloaded BI and installed. Great jobs. Wow. Fantastic, guys. This is good stuff. All right. This is good stuff. Oh, good. All right. Okay. So I see that you're here to install. So if you are here to install, please install. If you are still trying to download, please download. Let me show you something quickly in case you need help. Yesterday actually showed us how we can actually see where you can download. Let me go to my, this is my, what's it called now? This is my Google, and then let me look for Microsoft. For those that have not done that, Power BI download. And then this is it. You just click on this, and then once you see it loading. Did you see it? And then this is on what? On Microsoft Store or Microsoft. It is a free to use tool actually. It's a free to use tool. So once you just click on download here, then it will ask you maybe one or two questions, maybe view install. So if you have a Microsoft Store, you can just view. Now it's telling me that it's about to download. So if I click on save now, it start downloading. But since or because I already have it in my own system installed, I really do not need to do that. All right. So let me get back to my presentation and then we can continue. All right. So let's look at a few things about Power BI, the installations and the guide. All right. So Power BI step by step. So Power BI is a data visualization and business intelligence tool, a business intelligence tool. Now, what do we mean by a business intelligence tool? What it means is that as a business person, you need a tool that while you are saying one, your tool understand that you mean one and not I or hyphen. How can we that don't have Power BI install it? So if you follow this class, I'll still show you step by step on how to install the Power BI. So if you have not installed it, you might just hold on as well, because we're not going to be launching it today so that we can allow everyone install it so that by next week when we come in our class on Monday, it will be a good time for us to just start with Power BI and then we'll be using it. All after that has been said, I like to also say that peradventure we have one or two persons who have maybe a MacBook in this class. Well, Power BI or Power Apps, they are Microsoft enabled device. As such, they are not in good handshake with Apple products. So they are not in good handshake with Apple products. So in case you are carrying a MacBook, MacBook Pro, MacBook, um, whichever MacBook you are carrying, you might have challenge. I know there are one or two ways by people have maybe to a great extent. Of course, it might cost you more to get it done on the probably do a VM and then put it on their what's it called now on their MacBook, right? But I can assure you it's going to cost you. Even if the thing works, after some time it will still crash, and then it will still crash. I've done that and at least a couple of times, even with a couple of students that I have. There was one of the class sessions I had, and then my student said he's going to we didn't bet, but we entered a good deal to say that he told me he was going to show me if he's able to install. Eventually, he was able to install, but you know what? Just before the training ended, the thing crashed like maybe two, three times. So it wasn't like there was no proper handshake. So, so this is really you don't know, Miriam. Let me say this. This is one of the selling points that Windows have. This is majorly. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this funny. It might look like a joke or funny. Have you noticed how big people that like they have money, they want to buy MacBook somehow, but just beside their MacBook, you still see one sleek HP or Dell, right? That HP or Dell you are saying is the work. The MacBook, whatever, is the fancy one. It's just like maybe you have your iPad or something. That one is just probably for maybe reading, and not be every time Apple go dey win. All right, so maybe, but then the truth is, Windows is the best platform where an enterprise application like this can sit comfortably. All right, so MacBook is for maybe variety, aesthetics, and all of that. So, but then if you really need to get to work, and I can say it again, maybe if you have not noticed it today, maybe after today you can just notice when you see people say they're going for meetings, look at their PC. By the time you see their PC, you know the kind of work they do. If you see somebody that said he's going for meeting and then he brings out the system, he brings out maybe a MacBook, just know is that the person is either maybe just a project manager or you can name it, or a cybersecurity expert. Even cybersecurity, there are some part of cybersecurity that you require window, right? Although security in the real sense, window does not really have it in the high level, right? But then there are levels to it, like I said. So some other things, maybe like a graphics designer, a video editor, and all of these, you might probably see them. But if you want to know a business analyst, a quality assurance analyst, a financial analyst, all sort of analysts, you see them just carry out their what? Their Windows system somewhere. And then Linux. Linux is basically another OS that enables or that is typically for security. Linux is security enhanced, right? So that's how we roll. Just like there was a time so just before then now, just before I got my system, so it was a contemplation between getting the system. So I told myself, what exactly do I need to get? Do I need to get a machine? What I mean by a machine is something for work, or I need something for comfort. So I told myself, all right, if I need to get something, I need first get something that I can use and work and then can bring money for me, even before I probably now need to get something that can bring me more comfort. All right. By getting something that is bringing money for me, I've been able to even get some other things after. Like, right? I've been able to. So what am I trying to say? If you are still thinking and then you know that this is the path you want to journey in, you might want to invest in a good laptop. You might want to invest in a good laptop. So let's get back to our business intelligence tool that converts data from different data sources to an interactive dashboard. Now, different data sources. I remember that while you are working with SQL and even in your Excel, you remember that you're able to query the data from or get data from different. The data source was shared with us, right? Some we got the data source. We told us that you can get the data source from so play, maybe cargo and all and the likes. All right. So in other words, what we are saying is this: you can get data source as long as you know the data source where that data is from, as a business intelligence analyst, all you need to do is look for that source and then connect to that source. So what BI, that is the tool, BI tool, that is the Power BI does, is that it connects to a particular data set using data source. So the data source now is what you now need to determine or know which one. I said that, so money before comfort. I agree with you. That's it, right? Right. So okay, which window is best for a data analyst? Well, what I would just say is the more your pocket is, right, you can, so that you don't it doesn't look like so it doesn't look like an intimidation or something. So what I did is, before I got what I'm using currently, I already have one I was using, and then after some time I became very uncomfortable with it, so I had to stab myself. I said I needed something big. So but apparently what you just need is at least a Windows, maybe of course, Core i5 at least. Windows 7. Who still has Windows 7 is in this dispensation? Do you still have Windows 7? I can't remember the last time I saw that. So in case you still have Windows 7, please go and do an upgrade at least. You don't even need to. You can just do an upgrade. You don't need to change the system. You can just do an upgrade. So you can upgrade Windows 10 or 11, as the case may be, right? And then maybe let your system be maybe at least Core i3, i5. But then after some time, you might start having issues when you become a pro and then you start working with it. So Core i7 is good, and then maybe SSD, your drive must be SSD, preferably at least 256 is fine. If you're able to afford 512 and then maybe 1 terabyte and all of that. So then your gig RAMs, at least 8 gig is okay. 8 gig, if you're able to afford 16 and 32, that's also fantastic. All right, so that's how we roll. So, well, like that too. I didn't start with what I have currently. Of course, thank God you cannot even see my system. But then I know I've been enjoying what I have since when I had it. All right, since when I've had it. All right, so that's just to show that you need the tool to build this interactive dashboard. And now, when we say dashboard again, if you remember your Microsoft Excel class, is a summary of everything that you have gotten from your data, and then how you can make it very, very readable and understandable for someone, even when the person is not learned about what you're doing. So, what do I mean? For instance, now I don't know what Power BI is. So by the time you finish building your report and I see the report, even when I don't know what tool you use, I can easily say that, wow, I can interpret your inferences. So what that means is that when you are working with a BI, all you are trying to do is you want the business owners to be able to make decisions based on your report. All right. So, for instance, now, if I begin to say that, thank you so much, Bakari, patience. So, if, for instance, now on this class, now, if I want to say that if you are male, type M, if you are female, type F, can we do that quickly? And then let's begin our analysis already. So, I will show you typically how analysis works. If you are male, type L. Okay, the person asking me the difference between Power BI and Tableau, we'll soon get there. I have a presentation around that as well. If you are F, all right, can you see that F is already winning in this class? All right, I've seen like 1 million F already, 1 or 2 M's. So can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? Now, if we are saying, if I want to judge based on this, do you know that I can actually build a report on this? I said, count all F. First, I can say count the total number of people on this call. Let's say the total number of people on this call is about 500 and something people. Now, if I have over 500 people on this call, and out of the over 500 people on this call, then I have 400, let's assume 500 now, then I have 400 F, which means female, right? So I can easily say that this class is dominant or female, which means most men are probably somewhere looking out for other ways to survive, but rather ladies are looking for a way to what? Become tech inclusive. Does that make sense? That is my decision. And with that inference, I can have gathered the decision to say, okay, so maybe when I want to target my next audience, let me go in between where I will find. So if I need more guys now, can you see the trend that I'm still seeing? I'm still seeing more of female. Seeing a combination of male and female, I don't understand. I don't have trans in this call, on this call, right? I don't have. So now, so for instance, now, so if I want to check, okay, I have quite a number of female. So by my decision, based on the inference I have, I need more more male rather. So I will now go specifically target a location where I will get more guys. So and I will begin to invite guys. So by doing that, I am saying that based on the report I have already or initially, I need more guys. And if reverse is the case also, I can begin to say, okay, since I have more female, now I can have more guys. All right, for those requesting for slides, the slide will be uploaded on the LMS and then you'll be able to access it. Hopefully after the class, by over the weekend, just before your class on Monday. Most likely after today, we might not be using slide again. Every other thing most likely will be hands-on. So hopefully before Monday, you should have a hand on the material that I'm currently using. I'll try and make the student version because this is my note and I'm still building it. If in case you don't know, it's a continuation of what I used yesterday. All right, so let me show you. Can you see now? So this is repositories and all of that. So it's just a continuation of what I developed yesterday. All right. So it is a collection of software services, applications, and connectors that work together to turn your unrelated sources. Now, unrelated sources in the sense that thank you for M and Fs. So in case you are just joining, so that people will not say what is M, what is F. Somebody will just join the wagon, doesn't even know what it means, right? All right, let's move on. Don't mind me. I like to just put a bit of all right, it's part of learning, right? So when you are bringing different source into, I mean, different sources of your data into your report, people are not careful to know where you are bringing the source from or where the source is coming from. However, what they want to see or what they see eventually is where the report is leading us to. Where the report is leading us to. All right. So that is how to show it. So because if the report is leading us to, if it the different sources is bringing us to a report, there is I hardly can see where you finish building a report or a dashboard and then they say that where is the data set. No, though you can, there's a data set justification, there is data set justification, right? To show that is it true that you have the data set that gives you this answer sometimes. But then you might not need that for your presentation. I'm just saying you might not need to make references. So Power BI provide multiple software connectors. So we have Power BI desktop, we have Power BI service, we have Power BI mobile apps. Let me explain this quickly so that you don't you have the basic understanding. Today we are just talking about Power BI. We are not really doing anything hands-on. Just pay careful attention and then so that when we start working the hands-on, you will not ask that which one is this, which one is that. All right. So that you understand. So now Power BI suite has services such as Power BI desktop. Now, what is Power BI desktop? Power BI desktop is a desktop application where you can actually build your report. That is the application where you can build your report. If you go to your Microsoft store, you see Power BI desktop. All right. So what is Power BI service? Now, Power BI service is a software as a service application. It's a software as a service. And what does that mean? Now, before you can make use of Power BI service, you will require an enterprise account. Again, I say Microsoft is an enterprise organization, right? Such that anything you are doing with the Microsoft applications will require usually an enterprise account. An enterprise account. So, for instance, maybe an enterprise email. For instance, now, if you need to create an email using Power BI, now, Power BI service is probably an online service to showcase your product or your report, your dashboard that you have built. So, for instance, now, if I have built a dashboard and then I want to show people what the dashboard I have built looks like, if I want everybody to see it, I will have to put it on Power BI service. I can only do it for myself on Power BI desktop. But if I require or if I want people to collaborate or see it, it's just like different between Excel and Google Sheet. I don't know whether that makes sense. All right. So you have worked on Excel, and then you now make it, you want to make it more in a way that it will be more collaborative, where people can collaborate with it. Where people can collaborate with it, you will now begin to upload it on what? On your BI service. So that BI service, for you to achieve or to have it, you will require a business account. So don't take note, a business account is not a Gmail, a business account is not how do I put it now? All these are our normal account. So, but a business account that's probably an organization, you work with an enterprise organization and then you create one. Maybe for instance, now I work with Incubator Hub, I have my business account, I have my organization account, and all of that. So that's the business account. So in case I just log in case probably I open my desktop, my BI desktop, and then you see that I'm able to log in. Well, you can still do something without logging. So it's not a must that you actually log in. It's not a must until probably you need to publish your work. And then when you get to a point where you need to start publishing your work, I am sure by that time you will know you have gotten to a very good point. Is Power BI service free or you have to pay for it? It is not free, right? It is that's why I said an enterprise account. For you to get an enterprise account is not free. So if you are using, for instance, a Microsoft 365, so if you are using a Microsoft 365, you will need to pay for the subscription of Microsoft 365. All right. So although you can have a student account, for those of us probably who have a student account is also an organizational account or enterprise account, so that can work as well because it's part of what you paid for, right? It's part of what you paid for when you are registering for your what's it called on campus. So that is also part. So that's Power BI desktop, Power BI service. Now, Power BI mobile applications. Now, listen, Power BI mobile applications, what it does is this. Don't forget, I said the other time that Power BI does not have a handshake with iOS, Apple, and all of that. It is what? Solely a Windows product. Now, for Power BI mobile apps, what it does is this. Anytime you have SaaS is software as a service. I mentioned it earlier, software as a service. So anytime you are done with building your report and or your dashboard, and then you want to make it visible on your application, on your mobile apps, you just need to push it on the mobile apps. And now on the mobile apps, either iOS or Windows or what's this other one called now, Android and all of that, you can download Power BI mobile applications. All right. So once you have that Power BI mobile applications, but again, for you to be able to work with or to see the progress, for instance, now, if probably you are now working on a project and then you have an account, and then once you log into your Power BI service and then you publish a project, if you link your Power BI mobile apps to it, which can either be Windows or iOS or whatever device it is, once you refresh it, it will pick the update. So even if I'm showing somebody my phone, maybe I have an iPhone and I'm showing them something, I said, can you see this report? And I'm refreshing the report, it will work. But I cannot build any visuals with that Power BI mobile application. So it's available for different platforms, just like I mentioned, it's available. So this set of services are used by business users. I know I've said that. So to consume data and build business intelligence report. All right, look at this. So what this means is simple. If you look at this is the logo that shows the sign of Power BI, and this is what eventually what we are going to achieve at the end of this class. So at the end of this class, we should be able to have something like this. At least everybody should be able to build a dashboard that looks like this. Now, for us to get to this place, we need any or either or all of these. How many of the tools that you have here that you can you identify? Let me see at the comment section. How many of the tools you have here can you identify? Yes, 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 yes. Let me see at the comment section. I'm still waiting. Excel, okay. Excel, Access, Excel, SQL, Access, SQL, Okay, is that the only thing you can see? Most people are seeing Access, SQL, Excel. Access, SQL, Excel. Cloud, yes, finally, somebody saw cloud. All right. It remains maybe one or two. Explorer, all right. Somebody saw one more. It remains one. Nobody know what this is. Nobody knows what this is. I'm still trying to check. All right, it's MailChimp, in case you don't know. So MailChimp, all right. So we have this is Cloud, this is Explorer, this is Access, this is Excel, this is SQL, and this is MailChimp. So all these are showing you a SurveyMonkey, MailChimp, SurveyMonkey, as the case may be. So they are ways by which you can gather data. All these are different types of data sources that you can bring to Power BI, not limited to anyway, and then you can now build your report. So Power BI is used in visualizing data gotten from different data sources such as web, access, SQL tables, and cloud. So now I've spoken about this already, so I might not need to take too much time on it again. Supported operating system. So Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows servers, and then Power BI Desktop is available for download in the following format. All right. So for those that have downloaded, you will notice that when you are trying to download, you see that I was asking you either 32-bit or 64-bit. So this is your system specific. System specific. So if your system is 32-bit, you will pick 32-bit, but I doubt if people see 32-bit system actually. So if you have 64-bit, then pick your 64-bit. So please note, however, that the earlier version of your Power BI, the earlier the version of your Power BI, the better the services you start to benefit. Does that make sense? No. So for those of us that are just downloading our Power BI now, you discover that you have a more update. For instance, now by the time I will show you a particular part of my presentation that talks about. Now look at this. Look at this. There used to be a time that the size of Power BI desktop is about 428 MB to download. Now, if you pick this and you download this exact version now, you will see that you have already downloaded an obsolete version. So for those of us that have been able to download, what is the size that you saw? Are these your size for the version you downloaded? I think by now you should have something around 700 and something MB. You should have something around 700 and something MB or 800, as the case may be, thereabouts. So that is what you should have now. All right, fantastic. 786, yes. 700 and something. Somebody has 1064. Wow. All right, 1.09 MB. You mean MB or gig? 778. So 700 plus. That's what at least you should have. All right. So the earlier the version, the better the services you will enjoy. So if you download an earlier version or earliest versions that are obsolete, you will not enjoy the service. As a matter of fact, there are things that you will not even be able to do. All right. So this is the installation steps. So when you click on the Power BI, I'm doing this because of those that just downloaded and have not installed. So when you click on this, then you select your language, which is English, and then you see the size of what you want. Like I said, if your bit is 32-bit, this first one is 32-bit, and this second one is 64-bit. So you pick whatever version that your system is configured as. So you're advised to select your download option based on your system requirement. So don't go and select 32-bit because of size. If your system is 64-bit, 32-bit will not work on it. So this is what you will see after you have done or you are done with your installation. Although I think this is now changed, or this is now looking maybe like a green interface now. Maybe that's a green. So if you are having yellow interface, by the time you download, you are probably downloading an obsolete version. All right, the language is asking for link to download. Just go to your Google and just put Microsoft Power BI download. You see it's there. It's very, very free. You don't need to stress yourself. Well, if you can just go to your Microsoft store on your system, you will be able to just pick it directly from Microsoft store. All right. So when you see this, it will be nice for you to say, all right, welcome to Microsoft BI, then click next. So after next, you see your setup bar. It's already loading, loading until you see done. Then you click on next. So when you are eventually done, you have an interface like this. How will you know your system beats? All right. Well, that's you can just go to your my computer, and then you can check your properties. Under my computer, you can just check your system properties. You will see the bit of your system there. All right. What is the difference between Excel dashboard and Power BI dashboard? All right. Very simple. Excel dashboard and Power BI dashboard both are actually a way of reporting. So most times, if you build a dashboard or report, either ways, either you use Excel or Power BI. I know some business modelers, business analysts, full blown business analysts that uses just one tool, and it's Microsoft Excel. And once you see their report, you cannot argue it that this is not Power BI. Although Power BI has more functionality and has more quick to access. Now you realize that in a short while, let me whet your appetite a little. In a short while, you realize that all those functions you are writing in Excel, count if, sum if, max ifs, all those functions that you are using, by the time you get to Power BI here, when you get to DAX expressions, you just realize that all you just need to do is maybe one or two clicks, and then you are arriving at your answer already. I never said it would be good if you download the older versions. Oh. I said if you download the older version, there are some features that you will not see. Look at this. For instance, now what I currently have on my screen, look at this. What's it called now? The panel here. I have three. This one is what? This one is my report view. This is my model view. This is my um, model view. This is my table view rather. This is my table or data view. And this is my model view. If you have just downloaded, you see that you have four here. If you have just downloaded, you notice that what you have here is four and not three. So those are some of the updates you will not have with earlier versions. Those are some of the updates you will not have with earlier versions. Also, if you look at the way where this visualization pane is here as well, you notice that it's at the top here. The new version or the updated version does not have it here. It has it somewhere around here. So what it means is that as updates keeps coming, they are also trying to ensure that it's becoming more seamless. Thank you. Amma Grace said mine is 4. That's exactly. So that is showing that you are carrying the updated version of Power BI. So except if you are having the old one, just like this obsolete one on the screen, you have just 3 here. So you should have about 4 of it at least on this pane here. All right. So this is how the interface looks like, the home page, and then you will be able to, from here, you can now begin to do one or two things. Let's continue so that we'll still come back to that because that is where we'll be able to. All right, so Power BI includes the following component: Power BI Desktop, Gateway, Mobile Apps, and Power BI Service. I've spoken about that. Now, this is the architecture. Now, when we talk about the architecture, we're talking about what actually happens, all right? What actually happens. Now, you remember I talked about Power BI Desktop. Just like we have our PC with us, this is where we install our Power BI, right? So we install our Power BI on our desktop, and then by the time we work and everything, we have built a dashboard report. If you know that report to be in real time, now you connect it to Power BI service, all right? So how do you connect to Power BI service? Through a gateway. That gateway is the access point you need as an enterprise user. Yes, you can update your Power BI, Olawumi. You can actually update it. If you are already logged in, somewhere beneath your Power BI, if you have an obsolete version, you will see somewhere here that will say update, download update or something. Somewhere around here, you will see something around that, and then you can just click it and update your Power BI. I have downloaded but couldn't install. Where will I find the install icon? Just go to your downloads. Download is where the icon for Power BI will be. It will look like something like this. Once you see something like that, that's your Power BI app, and then you can double click on it and then follow the process. So can I be a data analyst without using SQL? If yes, can I function efficiently with Excel and Power BI only? Yeah, well, I will tell you 100%. Yes, you can. Okay, so don't worry. So most of us that are shying or running away from SQL, by the time you pay close attention to maybe your Excel, your BI, by the time you begin to grow in the career, by the time you begin, so if your Power BI is taking forever to open, it's because it's the first time you are doing it. So after first time, if you start using it, it won't be like that again, except your system is also probably needing help. So if you are using Core i3 or maybe all those Pentium versions, you will need help really, because it's going to take forever and it's not a course, it's going to take forever to open. All right. So the Power BI gateway explanation, so I'll take it again. Okay, I'm coming back to that. So what I'm saying is this: you can actually just be an Excel data analyst, and then you just be good at it, right? And then you can be a Power BI developer or modeler, right? And then you are good at it, right? So if you notice, three of us that are taking us in these courses, you see that ID, that's a machine, takes a part. Femi took another part, and then I'm taking another part. Will it be that each of us have a strength? Does it mean I don't use Excel? I use Excel. Does it mean I don't use query? At least I use query as well. But then, does it mean that I use Power BI as well? I use Power BI. Does it mean that these guys does not use any of the three? They use any of the three. But because people have area of concentration, and that is why. All right, so I like that. Isaac Ayeni said that means you cannot become database administrator if you avoid. No, you can't. You can't actually. If you are going the route of administrator, database administrator, you definitely need to use data. Data for anything database, you can't run away from SQL. You can't. Absolutely can't. All right. So for someone that is asking about the gateway, now anytime you want to enter a particular, maybe access a particular place, particularly if you are a stranger in that place, you will need someone to grant you access, or you need a key to get the access. So, excuse me, your key in this regard is the gateway. Say, for instance, between your BI desktop, that is everything you are doing on your system, and nobody can see. Whatever you are doing on your Power BI as you speak, I cannot see it. So you need a gateway which will be triggered by the enterprise organization to allow you put it on the cloud, which is the service. And then once you now put it on the service, every one of us can now see it on the what? On the mobile app. Does that make sense now? Can someone use mobile phone, or is strictly computer, please? You cannot do, and in fact, you cannot even download BI on your phone. You cannot even download BI on your phone. So that is it. You don't need to sign in as a first user. So as a first user, when you see that sign in, just close it. Just cancel it. You don't need to sign in. Just cancel it. And that's all. Just cancel it. I see that some of us are actually going like further than further than further. All right. So the next thing we want is supported data sources. We have quite a number of data sources that you can actually pick your data from. All right. Your Power BI is different from my own. Of course, what I'm showing you is a presentation, and some of the pictures of this presentation are obsolete. They are really, really obsolete. So they are not recent presentations, all right? Because we want to also use that to tell a story from what it currently looks like, so that we don't also forget how it used to look like. All right. So if your own is different from my own, that is what is causing it. What's the difference between a data analyst and data administrator? All right, two things. There are two different career paths. There are two different career paths. A database administrator, what a database administrator major in is what? Is integrity of data in the database. How data is secured in your database. Your own as an analyst is you are pulling data from the data source. Yes. So if the database administrator have not done well for you to store the data in the database, you cannot have access to it. So as an analyst, what you are doing is you are only connecting. So maybe hopefully in this class we are able to connect maybe SQL database. Maybe we can just get to use maybe one SQL database, and then you know what it means. Or you can just typically use maybe our Excel. our Excel can also be our database and all of that. So here we have quite a number of data sources. I have flat files such as Excel, CSV, and all of that. Those ones are flat files. SQL database, SQL can, those are structure query language, and then those are the ones that you guys are talking about in that interesting class. Can Power BI work iPad? When you say iPad, means it's an iOS. No, except for Power BI mobile apps. Power BI mobile apps can work on iPad, but not Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop cannot work on iPad. All right. Even for what do we call it now? For Android tabs and all of that, Power BI cannot work except for maybe the sophisticated ones. Except for maybe the sophisticated ones. All right, so I'm trying to read some of the comments. So these are some of the, not limited to, of course, data sources that we have. All right, so to get data in Power BI desktop, you need to click Get Data. So click on Get Data, and then once you click on Get Data, you are able to pick. So you are able to pick whatever data source you want to work with. Now, here you see this one will begin our demo. I will still walk us through the demo on the application tonight. So you just for people who have downloaded it, you just do the walkthrough with me, so that when we come next week, we'll just begin. Hopefully before that next week also would have shared a couple of data sets with us that we're going to be using in the class. Can Power BI work in phone? Have you been in this class or you are just joining? Fidelis, Power BI cannot work on the phone except for Power BI mobile apps. Power BI mobile apps can work on phones, and that has to be at least not it has to be at least all these conventional phone, not just anyhow phone, of course. So that's that. You downloaded Power BI mobile. Power BI mobile cannot work independently. In case you don't know, it cannot work independently. For you to use Power BI mobile, you must have a Power BI service. All right. So that is where it's going to spool your data from. That's where it's going to spool your report from. It works on your tablet. So maybe your tablet must be very sophisticated, and let's hope it doesn't crash as well. And then it might also be slow too, right? Because the processing time for all those devices varies, right? So if it works, that means it can work. Let them remember to fix my problem. I have not been receiving ads. All right. I've spoken about the file. It will be available after the session. All right, Power BI comparison with other tools. Can we compare Power BI with other tools? Somebody mentioned the other time that what's the difference between Power BI and Tableau? So very shortly, you'll see what it looks like. But Power BI can actually compare with other business intelligence tools. There are quite a number of business intelligence tools, one of which is Power BI, another is what? SSRS, all right? Another is Tableau, another, we have quite a number of them. So all of these have their own functionality, and they have their own area of how they can be used. All right, they have how they can be used. All right, so based on the one that is more competitive in the market, what about Luca Studio? Luca Studio is only relevant when you're working on Google Sheet. Luca Studio is only relevant when you're working on Google Sheet. So Luca Studio is another application entirely. All right, it's another application entirely that is owned by Google, not Microsoft. Your Power BI is taking time to load. If it is the first time, it might take some time. All right, thank you. So that's why I'm taking my time. I of course know that quite a number of people on the call will also be beginners or people who are just learning. So I'm taking my time. I don't want to rush. If it's an intermediate class, I won't talk about any of these things. I'm talking, we'll just enter into the class and then I'll tell you what to do. All right. And R programming. R programming is another programming language that you can use for analysis. Is another programming language entirely. Is different from what we have here. as BI tools. It's a programming language, not a tool for business intelligence. A business intelligence tool you can analyze and then you can visualize. So that's what makes a business intelligence tool. All right. So look at this now. So the next one we have here is what we call the features, the difference between Tableau and Power BI. How do we know the difference? The difference can only be known by their features. So by for data visualization on Tableau, Tableau provides strong data visualization and is one of the main data visualization tools in the market. That's for Tableau. So Power BI provides a strong backend data. All right. So it has a good and a strong what's it called now? Backend. So while you can use Tableau for main data visualization, all right, and although Tableau is more pronounced, that was even then self. It's not again because I guess because the cost inclusion now has gone more, and then everybody is trying to probably look for the product that will give them something free. Johnson Oyetunji. Johnson Oyetunji, please, again I say, for my TAs and the community manager, please help me take note. For those that will need to resolve their LMS issues so that we can resolve this as soon as possible. All right, okay? So let's quickly run through this, and then after which we can go for our break, and then we can come back. So we have a size of the data set. Size of the data set is a Tableau can connect to much larger data set as compared. So BI has limitations. All right. So when you are combinating BIs, so when we get to the tool itself, I will show us a few things while you are trying to connect to data set. All right. So BI has a limit of 1 gig data in free version. So PI has premium version. The premium version is what have some other services, applications that you don't have access to, right? For free user. All right. So, but then when Power BI has a limit of 1 gig data, I am still looking for in all of my doings about data. I've not gotten to use data to like 1 gig. So that means for you to really, how many of us have noticed what is showing? So how many of us have noticed that when you have an Excel sheet, usually your Excel sheet is most times maybe 1 MB, 2 MB, 3 MB, usually, right? So usually it doesn't go beyond that. It's just something small. Then let's look at data sources. Tableau, you can get Tableau from different data sources, just the same way with Microsoft as well. Cost. Now look at it. This is a major difference between them. Tableau is expensive as compared to Power BI, but still under budget for small and medium enterprise. Power BI provides a free version with 1 gig limit. So whatever we are doing in this class, we can actually use the free version, but Tableau is not free for all. Tableau is not free for all. So at least there is a free version for Tableau and that you can have access to it. So I think it's a good time for us to go on our break so that when we come back, I think this is just even my last slide. So this is my last slide. So let me quickly just go through this last slide and then when we come back from the break, we'll just I will launch the Power BI and then I will show us a few things on it. And then if your Power BI is not opening, be sure you downloaded the correct version. Be sure you downloaded it. So now there are Power BI steps to visualization. Number one is when you want to do any visualization, there are a few things, a question you must answer. And if you need to answer the question, number one is you must define the questions and goals. What question or what problem are we trying to solve? All right, you need to take note of all of this at least from now. What question am I trying, or what problem am I trying to solve? So once you know the problem you want to solve, say you want to the problem you want to solve, you collect data based on that problem because you already have an idea. All right, once you have collected the data, you rank the data. That is, you clean the data. All right, that is when you are carrying out ETL. That is or EDA, exploratory data analysis. So ETL is extract, transform, and load. So when you are doing all of that, that's data wrangling. Then determine analysis. So determine analysis is when you what exactly are you looking for? from what you have, what do you want to see? And then you interpret your result based on what you have. You begin to interpret the result. All right, thank you. Once we come back from the break, it will be a good time for us to continue. But then before we go on break, let me remind us there's a session we have on Saturday, and then you don't want to miss that session that is breaking into tech, the global approach to fourth industrial revolution. You see, you don't want to miss that section because our paneled and seasoned coach that will be on grad that day is someone who is very, very, very conversant even in this data space. So I'm sure you will hear some good values, and then there might be one or two opportunities even on the call. All right, I won't say more than that. All right, let's come back from our break. Let's come back by 8:10 so that we can have some time at least to relax, to take a walk around. Thank you, everyone. See you back by 8:10. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Right. So let's go. So let me see. Um, let me see one or two things at the comment section. If recently change your course to data analysis, you might face LMS integration challenge, but you can email DSA directly. Is anyone the GitHub account, should we create it with phone or laptop? I don't think I need to respond to that. Okay, somebody responded to you already. All right, so let's go. I was thinking there are maybe one or two questions waiting for me, so I'll try to check. Okay. So now look at my interface. If you see my interface now, this is what probably I don't want to show you where I'm coming from because I have some existing projects working on my BI. So that's why I just quickly come to file new. So if I go back, you see probably something existing already. So this is not what I needed to see. So that's why I just came to blank report. So if I click on blank report, it will open an entirely new report. All right. And that is what I needed to see, not what I currently have. Just a moment. It's coming up, coming up. All right. All right, so just a moment. Let me stop sharing this so I can reshare. Okay, so can you see my screen now? Great. Yes, please, you can download. The steps to the steps to visualization, don't worry, we'll get there and I will explain to it again. Step to visualization is questioning your data, getting the data, then interpreting the data, and then the analysis, and then presenting your report. Those 5 steps, we'll still do them one after the other. So just don't be in an hurry. We'll still get to where we will do them, what we need them for. All right. Okay. So now, how many of us have something like this, what I have in my interface right now? Maybe when you are trying to load, if you try to load, you see maybe login. Like I said the other time, just close it. Just close it. You don't need to log in anything. Just close that. Just close that, and then you should have something like this by the time you are done. So look at what I was telling you the other time. I have four panes here. I have 4 panes here. All right. So if you are working with an obsolete or old version, you will have maybe 3. You won't have the 4th one. All right. So like I said, some of you just somewhere here, you can see update Power BI or download Power BI update or something. So that shows what version you are having is not updated or something. So that's what it means. So then some of you might not even have this co-pilot and then all of some other features. So all those things are showing that you do not have the updated version. Please, can you guys hear me clearly? Someone is saying you can't hear anything. Is that true? Or that person is watching from behind? Maybe it's the person is still coming behind. Can you guys hear me clearly? Let me know at the comment section, please, if I'm audible enough. Please let me know. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It still is yellow logo but green interface. Yellow logo but green interface. Power BI has always been having yellow logo. Yes, my audio is audible. All right. So now, please pay attention. Now, the journey begins here. If you look at it, this visualization pane, how many of us have this visualization pane here? Or if you have it side, type at the comment section side. If you have it somewhere here at the top, type at the comment section top. If you have this visualization pane that shows different types of arts and designs, if you have it at this side, type side at the comment section. If you have it here, type top. Side, 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 side. All right. Wow. Almost all of us in this class have it on this side. So we have it at the side here, right? You have it on both sides. Fantastic. Top. All right. For maybe some of us that have it at the top. So that is where what you can just need to do is to do a bit of configuration, a bit of configuration. Say for instance now, if you come to file, if you come to options and settings in your file, options and settings, when you come to options and settings, you can click on your options. All right. When you come to your option, all right, now under your options, you see preview features, preview features, preview features. Can you see preview features? So under the preview features, come to this side, to your preview features. You will see something like on object interaction, on object interaction. If your on object interaction is not checked, check it. If it is not checked, check it. You notice that quite a number of things are checked here. Don't worry yourself. As you grow in this analysis journey, you will know when you need to come and pick or to come and check one or two things here, particularly when you are working with some visualization and then you need to check one or two things. You will be able to. So once you click on object interaction, click OK. Once you click OK, now what you need to do is close and reload your BI. Close and reload your PI. So for those that have done that, you need to tell me at the comment section, what did you see? What did you notice? Options is under file. Options and settings, then options. So do we need to be online or offline to use Power BI? Now, interesting question. Very good. So by the time you are done installing your Power BI and then your Power BI is good to go, well, listen carefully. If you are working with a data source that is on-premise, there's something we call on-premise data set. On-premise data set is if your data set is somewhere around your system, maybe in your downloads, maybe an Excel sheet that you have downloaded, is not a Google sheet, and it's not a server, it's not any, you are not connecting to any server. You can actually work with Power BI without connecting to the internet. Does that make sense? You can actually work with Power BI without connecting to the internet. But in the case where you need to connect to a data source that is a web, you will need to. So that means Power BI can actually work with both internet and without internet. It will still work depending on where you are picking your data source from. depending on where you are picking your data source from. Someone has been talking about my team for me to change it to white team. Well, let me try. Although I'm not really too okay. I've changed it to white team now. I've changed it to white team. So hopefully after the class, maybe I will return my team back. All right. So did you see this now? So that is a on object interaction. Sorry, Emeka, what shall you do? What you will need to do is actually to get help, right? Like you need help. And the help you need is to get a Windows laptop. I can't see there. I don't want to quote it. I'll sugarcoat it for you. Let me just tell you point blank and straight forward. You need a laptop. I mean, you need a Windows laptop. All right. So let's move on so that we can uh, go so that we can go further. All right. So now look at the interface. This is to all right. Let's try and see what we can do with this. What are we to take at the preview feature on object interaction? On object interaction, not system restart. Is the BI restart, not your system restart. You just need to restart your Power BI. That's all. You don't need to restart your system. This is what I did again. File, options and settings, options. So once your options load, so you see under preview features on object interaction. All right, does that make sense? All right, so let's go one after the other to see what we have here. Now, under these Power BI features, let me start by talking to us about this interface. We have four major interfaces that we have here, majorly three, but now we have them in four. So the number one is the report view. This is where you have what we have on this, our canvas now. This interface we have here is what we call canvas. It's canvas page. So, and this is where your report will be. Say, for instance, I want to build any report using any image. Let's say, for instance, I want to build a star chart. Can you see bar charts now? This is where my chart will appear. So that is what report view. On your report view is where you have everything you have worked on, and then you want to finally now come and say that, okay, I want to see my report. That's on the report view. The next to it is your table view. Now, on this table view, what you have is any data set you have uploaded on into your Power BI environment. Now, let me also say this. Anytime you upload the data into Power BI environment, the data is then independent of the source where you are bringing it from. Anytime your data, particularly if you are working with an offline source, let me take it again. As if it's loading, but it's not proceeding beyond this phase. For over 10 minutes, you might maybe your system, or you might need to probably. All right, I can see some people are saying the black team is better. Well, black team was better. Okay. Sorry, Kendi Babalola. How do you reload? Just close it. Just close it here. Just close it here and launch it again. That's how to reload. No, you don't need to check it out. Actually, you have to leave it. You are supposed to leave it there. All right. So this model view or table view rather, table view, what it does is this. By the time we start getting data now, if you look at this place now, get data. What this get data does for us is that I want to import data from wherever source I'm getting my data from. Say for instance, we have some of the data that was shared with us during Microsoft Excel class, right? If you have some of those data and then you want to try it, now listen carefully. If you want to import any data, you must know your extension very well before you can import it. Does that make sense? For instance, if you have a Microsoft Excel data, you cannot put web as your data source. So because this is asking you that what kind of data source is your data. For instance, text slash CSV. If your data source is dot CSV and you now put dot EXLXX, XLXS, that's the Excel, right? If you pick that, it will not recognize that data. So what are we saying here? What we are saying is you must understand your extension. You must understand your extension, and it is this extension you must select. So whatever data you are bringing or you are importing must be the exact data extension you want to use. For instance, now if you want to use this SQL server, so that means you have some credentials where you can connect to the server. All right, does that make sense? So like I said earlier, if you want to probably work with server, you can also import Google Sheet. You want to work with Google Sheet, there's something I did in one of the trainings that I had. I don't know, hope probably we can do that in this class also. We had a real-time data set. I just shared a link on the maybe comment section, and then people began to fill that form. And then while people were filling that form in real time, I would just spool the data and then I was showing people on the screen. So as people were filling the data, I was refreshing my data set and then people were seeing the result. That's the same way it works. So, but that is only possible when I am working with a what? A real-time data that is such as Google Sheet. You can also connect to Google Sheet. You can connect to SQL Server. You can connect to Excel. You can connect to what's it called now? CSV or text file. All right. So that is that about. So here now, table view. Table view shows me a list of how my table looks like. Now, if you look at this far right, it said you haven't loaded any table yet, and that is why it is empty. So for instance, if I've loaded maybe one or two tables now, this is where I will see the name of the table, right? So if I've loaded any table, I will see the tables here, and then I'll be able to say which table do I want to work with exactly, and then I'll be able to work with the table. So that's the table view. Now, model view. You notice this place is also empty. This place is also empty because nothing really is happening. Nothing really is happening. All right. So, and let me also say this, that on this table view, model view is where you will have for those that want to become Power BI modeler, like you want to be modeling um, analysis, this is where you will really work most. This is where you will really work most on these what's it called now? Relationship. Now, what we do here is we connect to the relationship between different data now. I mean to say, let me say for instance now, if I have three data and one of my data is carrying, and maybe I have a sales data. On sales data, I have sales ID, then the product name, product category, and then the sales, the price, right? That's for sales data, right? So, and I have another table, maybe customer table, all right? Customer table. So, customer table have what? Customer ID, all right? So, but on the customer ID, I now have a sales ID. Please pay attention. Pay attention. Now, that sales ID on the customer table is, I'm talking about two different tables now. So for me to bring the relationship that exists between the two tables together, I must join them exactly. Somebody is already remembering what SQL taught them. Oh, fantastic. You guys are, why did you now say someone say you don't like what SQL looks like? You already know it now. That is primary and foreign key relationship. Thank you, Akindeji. Thank you. So that is primary. And so that means on my sales table, now, I have maybe customer ID on it. That customer ID on sales table is a secondary or a foreign key. But on that sales table, the sales ID is the primary key, which is the unique identifier, because on the sales table, no two sales can have the same ID. No two sales. So that means that is what uniquely shows that particular table. Don't worry, I will show you this with data itself. So I'm just trying to explain, like I said, I wanted everybody to download tonight, install tonight, so that everybody can be on the same pace. Please, we need the real-time experience. It will be one of the great learning I take home from this course. All right, I've said that over and over again, so you just need to be patient, right? I can't start that while some people are still trying to find their balance installing the application. So I want everybody, there is no joy in it when I have maybe a few people following the class and when we can have more people. So let's have tonight's class for installation so that everybody can be balanced. Okay. Was that Benga? Is it Benga that Mr. Femi said you should hold his leg? Apparently, I know. Okay, now I get. Okay. All right, let's move on. So, so that is the primary key, the foreign key, and that is the tables now. All right. So this last one, it is what DAX query view. So that query view is just for analysis expression. So DAX, that DAX means data analysis expression. Data analysis expression. So that is DAX. It means data analysis expression. Okay, I think I'm familiar with that name. All right, now I know. All right. So you're in this class. All right, good stuff. All right, so let's move on. So these are some of the things I need us to pay attention to. So the next thing I want to show us is under the report view. Now, listen carefully. Listen carefully. Under the report view, did you see something like this transform data? So I want to show us a few things that we can do with our Power BI. Did you see transform data? Anytime, let me ask you a question for probably people that has car or that have cars here. Now, anytime your car is having issues or develop a fault, what do? This, it won't be a bad idea if you connect network on LinkedIn. It's one of the places where you can also get me. I know one or two persons I'm seeing on the call already that that is where we interact. Maybe that's the best way you can even get my attention earlier enough. All right. So take it to the mechanic. Thank you, Abubakar. You are the first I see that responded to that. Thank you, Kasali Abibat. Yes. So take it to the mechanic. So anytime your car is having an issue, you take it for repair, and usually you take it. So how many of us will our car probably have issues and then you now take it to the barber shop? So that means you are ready. You are just be sure that you are ready to send that car to extinction or life imprisonment. So what you do is you take it to the mechanic. So you see transform data here. What it means is anytime you upload or you get your data from wherever source, before you do anything, you want to check whether there are one or two issues with your data. That checking is what we call transforming data. So if I try to load any data for us on this call tonight, okay, let me try one. I think I can get one or two data from my get data. Let me see Excel book. Let me see my downloads. All right. I see our Excel function one. All right. I remember we use this Excel function one, Abi. Don't worry. Thank you. Don't worry. In case you are not able to do it tonight, don't worry. This is not the real data. I just need to use this as I have two sheets. One is conditionals and sheet two is exercise. All right. So if I want to get the two data here, I will just I hope I'm seeing real time updates on my. I hope this is not somebody has just gone to LinkedIn and look, because I'm seeing some notifications. I hope it's not from this class already. All right. So conditionals. So this is how the conditional table looks like. Can you see what I have here? So this table is very dirty, right? Because of what we have in it. All right. Let's see what the other table looks like. This is exercise table. All right. So now, can you see what I'm saying here? When you come to this lower part, if your screen is blur, if my screen is blur at your end, all you need to do is change your resolution and then you'll be able to enjoy your view. So now, what will I do when I see a data like this? As a data analyst, an organization needs, or they have a data like this and then they need to take care of it. They will bring it to you as a mechanic and somebody say, God forbid, I am not a mechanic. God forbid, I am not a... You're a data engineer, you're a data mechanic, you are whatever you want to call it. So, because by the time you are done with this data, we don't want to see all this error that is attached to this. So let me try to transform this data and then I'll begin to show us a few things that we can do. All right. I'll show us a few things that we can do. Now, this Power Query Editor is my mechanic workshop. What do I call it? That's my mechanic workshop. So in mechanic workshop, it is from there you begin to diagnose. Okay, so this one is having this issue. So what can we do to this? How can we do to this? So what are we going to do to this and all of that? All right. So first thing I notice on this data set is that I see too many null data. And if you look at it, all these column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, they are not the table header. There is something that should be on the head. If you look at this, is names, company, salary, and that's all, right? So that means I need to clean this data to have that exact stuff. All right. So the process of making that data come to a reasonable look that everybody will see it and say, wow, you have done a lot of cleaning on this data is what we call data cleaning. So you can call cleaning wrangling as well. Yes, data wrangling, cleaning. So the process by which you do it is what you rank when you rank data. All right. So that is the approach. Please, guys, let's focus on the class. I can see some LinkedIn. All right. It's good we connect as well, but then so that you don't miss out on the important updates. All right. So are you following me, guys? Are we still together on this call? If you are still together, let me type at the comment section together. Wow, our time is almost up tonight. Wow. Is the time running more than faster than what I think? Absolutely together. Thank you, guys. All right, let's see how far we can go tonight. Now, what we want to do is quite a lot, and let me show you. For instance, everything on this column 1 is null, and nothing here is in need of. Where the data start from is actually the second column, which is what? Names. So here, I don't even need what is here. What can I do? I need to start cleaning my data one after the other, and I want to take it step by step. What can I do? If you right click on this, column 1, see quite a number of things you can do here. I will not teach you everything here because even if you have 2 months to take this, we cannot exhaust it. And that's the same thing I guess happened in our Excel and SQL class. If you leave all these guys, I mean my facilitators, if you leave us, we'll continue to teach you new things every now and then. But then for the sake of the time frame that we have for this class, all we need to do is He say you reach time, you reach Power BI at time they fast. All right, we have not even started anything. By the time you start your visualization and all your BI analysis and all of that, trust me, it's something that you will love. I am afraid some of you will want to run away from maybe Excel or I'm not. No, let me say so. It doesn't look like I am being uh, putting maybe one conflict of interest out. All right. So look at this. If I say remove, look at what happened. That colon is gone and it's gone forever. All right. That colon is gone. What I did was I just right click on it and I click remove. But then I need you to pay attention. What you just did, if you want to be sure of what action you have just taken, come to this right, to my right here. Did you see properties? Under your properties, you see the name. Name is telling you the table we are working with, which is exercise table, right? And that is the only table I selected. And under it, I see applied steps. Under the applied steps, I have some default, which is source, navigation, change type, and then the step I just applied now is what? Removed columns. So for every applied step you take while you are working on your data, it will be reflected on this applied step. Let me see this column 2 now. Let me remove column 2. Now I've removed column 2. Look at it. Removed columns, right? I have removed columns. But if in case what I did was a mistake and I'm not supposed to remove it, what should I do? I'll just come back to this removed column. You see the cross sign, cancel sign in front of it. I'll just return it. Can you see? And you see what happened now? I have my column 1 back. I have my column 2 back. Does that make sense? Oh, good, great. Nice. Thank you. Very sensible. Thank you. All right. So let me remove this guy again so that you can see that one by one, I am beginning to clean my data. I will try as much as possible to see how much we can go and then clean this data till the point where we can say, okay, this data is now good to go for analysis. All right. So look at it. I have cleaned the first part. So let me leave column 2, column 3 because there's something here. You know, you see this null, 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 null. All this null, null, null. There are other things, right? Column 4, okay, there's nothing. Column 4 is the last thing, that's salary. From column 5, nothing is there really. So what can I do? Can I select column 5 and then I have it very plenty, very plenty. Now, what can I do? Instead of me selecting one after the other, can I just select column 1 to 4, column 2, press your control key, column 3, press your control key, column 4, and then now you have selected the columns that you need, right? What I want to do is I want to delete other columns. How do I do it? You see these buttons up, manage columns. Manage columns. Under my manage columns, I see remove columns. There is one arrow beside remove columns. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. There's one arrow beside the remove columns. If you drop down the remove column, you will see remove columns. Now, remove columns, what remove columns will do is this. Remove column will delete or will remove all the columns you have highlighted. Do you understand? But the next one is saying what? Remove other columns. Remove other columns, we now say that, okay, you have highlighted some columns. Every other column apart from the columns that you have highlighted, remove other columns. So what I will click is what? Remove other columns. Does that make sense? So if you are not able to, just pay attention. Whatever thing I'm doing now, from next week Monday when everybody would have will have their Power BI installed. We'll still do a bit of refreshing on it. All right. So I'm picking remove other columns, right? So let me click remove other columns. Can you see on my applied step again? On my apply step, I see what? Removed other columns. Now, if I scroll up and down, can you see? Scroll up and down. What did I see? What did I have here? I have just names, company, and salary. Is that correct? Yes. Now, I need somebody to help me. Look at this, my upper part here. I don't need all these parts, all this part, all this part. So I want to do it such that what I will have next will be on column 7. That will be my first element. Column 7 will be my first element. That is what I want. What do you think I should do? Comment section. Remove rows. Oyinlola Oladeji. Thank you. Who said filter? Remove rows. Fantastic. That's good. So let's go. So if I want to remove rows, do you think I can do something like what I did in columns by clicking more than one rows? I might not be able to do that. But if I want to remove rows, how do I do that? All right. So can I come to this? And from the rows that I need to be gone is from row 1 to 6, right? Do you notice it? Row 1 to 6. All right. So if I come to rows, remove rows, when I click remove rows, look at this. Please pay attention. I see remove top rows, remove bottom rows. If I say remove top rows, it will ask me how many rows do I want to remove from the top. If I say remove bottom rows, it will ask me how many rows do I want to remove from the bottom. If I say remove alternate rows, what remove alternate rows means is this. If I want to remove 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, thereabout, or if I want to remove 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Did you understand? That is removing alternate rows. I can see that you guys are already giving me good stuff here. So which of these options do you think I should remove? Remove duplicate. Do I have duplicate in this? I've not even gotten there at all. Do I have blank rows? Yes, I can call blank rows, maybe the rows that are empty. Do I remove errors? So sometimes when you're working with data and then you see errors, you can also say remove error. So for all of these options, which one do you think I need to do that will make sense? Remove top 6 rows. I see that. So top rows, let's pick remove top rows. Now, number of rows. Can you see? It's asking me for number of rows. So how many number of rows? From the top, don't forget. Then I'll put 6 and then I press OK. Let's see. Did you see what I have now? Did you see what I have now? So what I have now is my number 1 row now. If you look at the step, I say remove top rows. My number 1 row now is now what? Names, company, salary. But am I done yet? I'm not done yet. You know why I'm not done? Can somebody tell me why I'm not done yet? Can somebody tell me why I'm not done yet at the comment section? As the header. Okay, thank you. What happened as the header? The header name is not there. Thank you. So I still have column 2, column 3, column 4. And column 3, 2, 3, and 4 are not the header. If you look carefully at this data, you will see that names, company, and then salary are my header. So what do I do when I have such things? All right. If you come to my extreme right under transform here, did you see something like use first row as header? Use first row as header. There's one arrow beside it as well. Use first row as header or use header as first row. They are two different things. They are two different things. When you say use first row as header, it will go to number one, row number one, and it will make it the header. That is first row as header. If you say use header as first row, all this column 3, column 4, column 5, it will bring it back to make your first row. All right, does that make sense? That is so. In case sometimes you might have your first element in row 1 here as your header, you might have this company salary in your first, so you might need to change it and say use header as first row. So that's if the first element is now your first, the first thing on the row is also part of your data. You will now drag it down to say use header as first row. So in this case, what we are picking is what? Use first row as header. So just click on it and then you see what we have. Now, can you see what I have now? So from what I have now is looking like my data is making sense. So look at this. Look at this. Now, there's something I notice, and that is what makes me look down. There's something I notice, and that makes me look down. If you notice, I think, I hope this is maybe after now, we might not be able to go further than this because our time is almost up. Now, if you notice, under these names to your left, you see ABC, right? Oh, thank God you're enjoying the class, Olusoji. Did you see this ABC? Under company, you see ABC as well. So under salary, what did you see? 1, 2, 3, right? So all those things you are seeing there, they are what you call your data types. We'll talk more about data types when we come the next class. So we'll talk more about data types when we come the next class. We're not dealing with data type now. But immediately under these names, did you notice one green line that fainted almost at the middle? Green lines are now turned to black. Did you notice it? Can anybody notice it? Green, 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 and then when it gets to a particular point, it turns to black, and then the same thing happens for the third one too. Did you notice it? Now, this is the reason. If you scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, you begin to see some null sets. Null set. All these null sets is telling you that they are empty, that you cannot leave it like that. So that means we need to deal with these two. So how can we deal with this? Before we deal with this, can we also say, is there a way we can check? Like if you put your cursor on that green faint line, did you see something? Company has 20 valid, which is 61%, 0% error, and 13 empty, which is 39%. Did you see that? So there is a way you can actually check. Anytime you are working with your data, don't forget we are still at the mechanic shop. Are we together? We are still at the mechanic shop, right? So what we are just doing now, we are still diagnosing why our car is faulty. Our car in this regard is our data set, right? So as we are getting the fault one after the other, we are cleaning it, right? That's what we are doing. So now there is a way by which you can actually diagnose, and I'm using a layman language so that you can actually understand the quality of your data. I call it diagnosis. Yes, you are still diagnosing. So the quality of your car, you want to see how good or how bad the car is. You want to see the quality. So when you come to the view tab, now this is one of the questions you will see out when you are probably writing Microsoft exam. You hardly can escape this. When you come to your view, you have these three: column distribution, column profile, and column quality. We might not be able to explain everything tonight, but let me just pick one and show you. Column quality. Now, under this column quality, when I clicked on it, did you notice another pop-up that shows green, red, and black? Green, red, and black. Did you notice it? We want to see, yes. So that shows me the quality of this column. So that means on this column, I have 61% data that is valid. I also have 39% data that is empty. So that means I need to do something about those empty cells. empty rows. I need to do something about them. Can somebody tell me what we need to do? The same thing is on this one, on salary. The same thing is on what? Also on names. So can somebody tell me what we can do to get rid of this guy? Somebody at the comment section. Remove bottom rows or remove blank. Thank you. Remove blank. So if I come back to my transform, all right, let me come back to my, is are we dealing with rows or columns now? Are we dealing with rows or columns? Somebody at the comment section. If you say remove bottom rows, it will still work. But how do you know the number of bottom rows? You will have to start counting. What if you have a large data set? How will you get it? It's not columns, so I'll build Esther or Ileye so that you don't make mistake. Then Jonathan, Okunkun, it is not columns, it's row, right? So how do you, when you cannot start counting between 33 and this thing. So that might be ambiguous. All you need to do is just what? Remove empty. So let's come to our what? Remove rows. And under remove rows, I told you there are quite a number of things you can do here. Did you see blank rows? Click on remove blank rows and let's see what happens. So if I now drag down, you see the last number I have now is 20. Look at this, my column quality again. What did you have in your column quality? Can you tell me what you have on your column quality? Does this look like magic at all? %100%. So my column quality is now 100%. 100% valid. So that means what I have now is now clear because I have removed, who have 95%, 95, 95, 100. Everything is now green. Did you notice that this line is now green all through? All right. There's no blank mark again. So this is, you will realize that at this point, for people probably again who have a car and then you just, so when your car is faulty and you are not the mechanic, you just get to the mechanic. Mechanic can even, what they charge us, most of us for is that they check to say that, okay, we scan the car. And by the time they put the scanner on the car, they say, okay, this is what is wrong. And then they say, they charge you, bring this, and then we'll get it fixed. And before you know it, the car is fixed. Some of them are not even spend any time, but then you are paying for their smartness and the wisdom they have applied. And that is what you are paying for, because the scanner will tell you directly where the issue is, and then they are able to achieve it. So at this point now, you see that our data is entirely clean. At this point, I think we need to call it a night. But let me take, if there are one or two questions, don't forget our data is here at the mechanic workshop. So it's easier we can use this data because I believe everybody should have that data that I am currently working on. So in case you don't have it, go back and check the data you use while you are working with Excel. What we are using is Excel data, right? I hope we have had a wonderful time. Sir, do we need SQL to work on? Is that what you are trying to say? Do we need SQL to work on Power BI? If your data source is from SQL data server or database, you will need it. Can't wait till Monday to continue with this interesting module. Thank you, Mr. T. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. All right, thank you. Sir, we need SQL to work? No, you don't need SQL. When you mean SQL server or database, if you are talking about database, you will need it, particularly if you want to last in this analysis journey. Then how do we finalize when we come on Monday? I can't wait till Monday, all right? Let me wait that better so that let me leave it hanging at this so that some of us will come very early to class on Monday. Instead of removing rows or bottom, we can just remove empty. If you do that as well, you will be able to. But don't forget, there are one or two comments along the line of that stuff upstairs. It will see it as empty, so it will leave it. So you need to still deal with them. What be done in the case of missing values? So in the case of missing value, you can do a replace value. right? You can do a misplaced value, a replace value. So when we get to replacing of value, you see how we can do that. Can we click close and apply? Yes, if you because just because you want to save your work, you can just click close and apply. So when we come the next time, we go back to the mechanic workshop. So if you share this data we are doing, what are you, sir? If you share this data and we are doing what you are doing, it will be more understanding. It's because you have not been in this class. If you have been in this class, the data I'm using currently, everybody have access to it. All right. When you close this page another day, you want to open Power BI again, where do you go? It will suggest it to you that you want to continue from what you're doing. Thank you to the Joanna. Thank you so much, Bolande. An interesting session again. Thank you. How do we save your work done tonight? You can just save your work tonight first by closing and apply. Once you close and apply, you see close and apply here. Once you close and apply, then you can go home and save. You can then save your work. What if it's a large data and the null maybe start from row 2000? All right, I need to go now so that I can answer my TAs. I know there are quite a number of questions. When we come the next time, we can look at all these questions. Let's have a wonderful weekend. Please, again, let me remind you, we're going to see you meet on Saturday. Saturday is going to be a very wonderful session. You don't want to miss the breaking into tech. Uh, how you can navigate your ways, how what small thing you think you are doing now, how you can make the big deal out of it. Let me stop sharing my screen so that you can see that what's it called now, that design for the Saturday program. All right, so this is breaking into tech. So you don't want to miss this session. Trust me, you don't want to miss this session. And then you want to be around 7 p.m. and then you want to also invite, even if they are not students of DSA, please get people to be part of this. And then there are opportunities that you also stand to gain. And also, you never can tell. A quiz can come up after the session, and then if you are not there, you might not be able to attempt it. Don't forget, there is prize for people who have good stand in this class. See you on Saturday. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening, as the case may be. Thank you.